right, guys, welcome to Camper 10.0. I know it didn't take very long, but I've got a friend here. This is my good buddy, Paul. We've been good friends for a long time.
What up?
And this is his truck. This is a 2014 Chevy Silverado LTZ, you said?
1500 LTZ.
1500 LTZ. And we're going to build, this camper project is going to be a camper shell. So it's not going to be a truck camper in the sense that it has a floor that will slide in, and I'm going to show you guys how this looks in a second, but it will be a shell that sits on top of it. I know a lot of you guys have asked me to do custom builds, and my general answer is still no, and I apologize. This is Paul and I have been friends for a long time, and this has been a project that we've planned for a long time. So I finally kind of finished up, cleaned up my shop, and got some other things out of the way, and this is where we're going to go. Like all of my intro videos, the very foundation of it's been set, but very little of the build's been done. I'm going to pull the camera off in a moment, and I'm going to kind of show you what I did in my mind space on this. I do want to caveat, though, that this is my first shell. And again, to clarify that difference, the truck camper has a floor in it. It's one consolidated unit, and it actually can stand by itself and slide in the truck. In this case, the shell, just like if you were to buy a fiberglass camper shell, will actually sit on top of the bed of the truck. And I'll take off the camera and I'll show you, make a little bit more sense. But before we go any further, I always talk about the philosophy of the start of any build. And Paul, I think this is your territory. So I guess why don't you just explain what kind of specifications you were looking for and then your intended use.
Sure, Dave. You and I had talked for many, many years about our mutual love of nature and going out and allowing, as crazy as it may seem, the desert in order to recharge our internal batteries and just kind of do a hard reset for life. This build came about as a result of me coming to you because in 2024, I had a friend, Zach, at Bearded Adventure, who built a truck bed camper modified from, I think it was a Lear fiberglass truck bed camper. And then having spent several times with him out in the desert on an elk hunt and fly fishing up in northern Nevada, I realized that he was much more comfortable than I was. I was sitting in a tent on a cot. I'm 52, and I realized I just don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to sleep on the ground. I don't want to sleep on a cot. I don't want to sleep on an air mattress. I want to sleep on a memory foam mattress provided under the cover and safety of a custom-built Endgame Campers truck. What do we call it? A camper shell. Endgame camper shell.
What did Zach call it? Was it camper show yoga or something? What was it?
Oh, yes. So one of the reasons why I asked Dave to build a custom one is Zach would have to perform what he would call truck bed yoga.
Truck bed, that's right.
Truck bed yoga because the fiberglass kind of like really smashed him down to the point where he would have to roll and twist and turn in order to be able to put on his pants and put onto his boots. And one of the things that I'm looking at for in this particular build is comfort, security and comfort. And so talking with Dave, we sat there and we've done the measurements where, what are we looking at, about 30?
Yeah, we're going to do an overall internal height of 30 inches.
30 inches. And he had me sit inside the camper on a.
It was a motorcycle stand, but
okay.
it established the height. So we'll obviously build a bed platform, and that's going to sit at about 15 inches high. And for you, that will it'll be a little bit squatted, but it'll be a relatively comfortable seating position. And then you're a big guy. You're 6'2",
6'3",
6'3",
300 pounds.
So that 30-inch height, because the bed will be so low, or the bed platform will be so low, it'll be enough to where he could sit up in the back, and you could actually sit on the bed like we're sitting here, and it won't have too much clearance above his head, but it'll be, you know, just right there.
Yeah, I'm not going to be having to roll around like Zach does.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, and then so we'll do a little bed platform, and you wanted lift up to have some storage underneath, right?
Yeah, some storage would be nice. As if everybody here in Vegas that has a 2-car garage, it's not a 2-car garage. So I'd like to be able to take some of my camping gear, be able to put it into a safe and secure camper shell, and that's something that I could access while I'm out in the field. And we're looking at drawers, or are we looking at doing a straight like lift up?
You know, I guess that's kind of up in the air, but we'll sort it out. I think my gut instinct says that since it's going to be not super tall, it's only going to be about 15 inches tall. Drawers, now that you mentioned it, might actually be a better alternative. But we'll sort it out. That's a detail that we can hash out. But the bottom line is, you know, the bed platform is obviously elevated, so that we'll utilize that space underneath to store stuff in some way. So, yeah, I think that sounds good. Let me pull the camera off. And I'm sorry. Did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, you have anything else you want to ask me?
Well, what siding do you want? What did you want it to look like?
So having seen Dave's previous builds, I think one of the things that's going to make this particular camper shell very unique is his incorporation of his cedar planking, which in terms of just the aesthetic feel for it, it looks beautiful, as well as some of the insulation and weather protecting aspects that are available that only cedar can provide.
Yeah, and we'll insulate it with Thinsulate. It'll still be a relatively a simplistic build, and you guys will see. I'm gonna try to wrap this up in about a month or 6 weeks, but we're gonna put the acrylic windows. All right, guys, so this is the first shell I've built, so I'm kind of sorting some stuff out on my own, but I think I have a pretty good plan. What we've done here is we've established a foundation. So this would be like building the tub if I were building the truck camper. So this is going to define the size of the camper itself. This is hardwood, and this will be the base of this. Like I said, the framing will be cedar and the siding will be cedar. But this foundation base for this is hardwood because I wanted something a little bit. We're going to have clamps in there when this is down permanently. So essentially the simplest thing I did is I just built a rectangle. Of course, or kind of a C shape here that fit around the perimeter of the bed here. Of course, we measured it. Now, when I thought to myself about how you could build a shell, the back, there was really 2 ways it could go. One is that you would simply shut the tailgate, and then the portion above the bed, which would be the shell portion, you'd have a door just like a traditional one that would flap over and provide weatherproofness, and that's fine. But I wanted, basically what I've decided to do though is we're going to build a wall down here. So when he's driving, the tailgate can be shut, and there will be a dedicated wall right here, and there will be a big wide door. So if any of you guys remember back into 1.0, though that was a truck camper and not a shell, it had a similar wall back there with a great big wide door. And I think that worked out well. And we're going to do the same thing here. I'll get into it later. There will be some challenges of waterproofing this area, but Paul and I have talked about it. We have some solutions. It's a little premature to get into that in detail here. But other than that, this will sit on there. As far as this initial construction, I took some measurements. I built the general foundation. Paul came over, we set it on the truck, we squared it up, and then getting these posts set, which will define this back wall, was a key critical area because it's obviously not straight up and down. So we had to manipulate some stuff right here, make sure these posts are 90 degrees on all ends. Some of this is mocked up. This piece across here will actually be removed at a later time. So we'll roll on from there. Just like all the other builds, I will do update videos, or vlog videos, just, detailing the build about once a week. This thing should be very light. I don't know, 200-300 pounds at most. And it should be a pretty quick build. I'm hoping, like I said, I'm gonna try to knock this out in about a month to 6 weeks. And I think the shell concept has been something that a lot of viewers have asked about. And, it might be an interesting thing to follow along. There will be some outside of the cedar siding, which I think is pretty attractive itself. You guys will have to see how it's going to look, but the roof will actually have a really nice arc, east to west or side to side, another way to say it. That will help shed the water, but it'll give it just a little bit of style. All right, so one other thing I wanted to add is this is how I'll be building this. Of course, this doesn't have a tub, because with a traditional truck camper, everything is built off the tub, and the tub can just sit on the ground. This is unique because there's no tub, right? So this is my plan for working on this in the workspace. I essentially just set up 4 sawhorses. It will sit on top of it. I could shift this around as I need it. But now that we got the critical measurements and making sure it fits in the truck, getting these post height set just right and just square, and the right distance side to side was a key aspect. So this is where the workstation will come in. I know it doesn't look like much here, but next video we should start seeing some framing coming into place. I've got a really exciting thing I'm going to try with the roof, a new construction method. I'll be honest with you, I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it. And if it does work, I think it's going to be, a pretty interesting way to maybe do some stuff in the future. So thanks guys for watching.